company secretary, association secretary, honorary secretary, Mr. Kaushik, to present a small souvenir to all our guests who are here as a mark of memory and remembrance. Mr. Kaushik, he will present to Mr. Talapsi Bhai. Because then we will be proposing a vote of thanks. You have sat here for 2.5 long hours. 5 minutes will not make a difference, but we should not be discourteous to our guests. So I request all of you to wait after Harshad has spoken and the vote of thanks is proposed. This is a small request, thanks. And finally, before I hand over the mic to Harshad, a couple of things about our association. It is one of the oldest associations in the whole of the country. And friends, this is the time that investors have to get together, and only a collective action will bring the result. We are all talking of high premium. Kamlesh Bhai talked about the easy route of primary market, but that easy route has now become a very bleak and dark route, because once the person enters into this route, he gets into the box. Because he either buys the shares which he cannot sell even at the cost price, or cannot be traded at all, or there is no broker to sell this share. This is the plight of the investor. And therefore, we have all to join together. And therefore, those who are not members of the association, please enroll. It is a very nominal fee, and you can enroll as members of the association. The forms will be available outside, and those who are members, they can please join us in a free drink which is available outside, and then go home. And now I will ask.
Good job. Oh, my third brother, who is a surgeon, would have been there to measure my heart rate. Please help me to stand properly. Respected President and members, eminent members of the dais, and you all friends. Last week, I like to talk in the language what all you will be able to understand. I will put it in Gujarati, Hindi. Gujarati! It will be a language from his heart coming to your heart. Allow me to talk. Last week what happened that one of my friends came rushing. He told me, Harshad, there is a great news for you. I was also quite anxious for quite some time. I have not been getting very good news from him. He said, I have an inside information for you. He said, I have an inside information for you. I was curious, but I said, talk to him though. His inside is very difficult and so better be easy on him. He said, and now onwards, you don't have to pay any taxes. It was a great man. Friends, it becomes quite difficult for me even to control my thinking. I said, what is so great? He said, I have found out some way where you don't have to pay taxes. Unnecessarily, this IT department is after you and claiming some 12,000 crore. You will be relieved of all these things. And I was quite curious to know what it is. He said, the effect is like you are in a Cayman Island. You don't have to pay any taxes. And I asked him, after all, why you are making it so mysterious? What is so great thing? He said, one thing you have to just stop. You have to observe something. I said, what is it? He said, stop earning. So if you don't earn, then there won't be any income tax. I said, wow, really great. And I thought of really following it. Friends, I had crossed all my imagination levels for myself. And it is a human nature, and especially an ambitious person like me, to look for bigger and bigger challenges. At one point of time, there were challenges to achieve, make money for yourself. Then to make money in much bigger numbers. Then to become or come on the board of some companies. Then what? Then I thought, now let's work on the national finances. Finances on the investors, where you can talk of 50,000 crore and where you can talk of 2 lakh crores. So I said, how to start this exercise? If you really want to start, where do I start? And then came the budget. Unfortunately, I don't hold any of those degrees which makes me to comment. By whatever I could understand, whatever I could read, this has been a very, very creative budget. It has tackled one of the biggest problems which our country was facing last 18 months, or especially last 1 year. That is of demand recession. Cut in various excise duties and import duty reduction will definitely bring in better industrialization, better environment. But where things went wrong, especially from the capital market point of view, because I feel that I am more from the capital market than to talk. It was the imbalance created between the demand and supply. Last 1 year, if you try and analyze, on one side, as if there is not going to be any tomorrow, almost all corporates and governments started raising resources from this market. Really unprecedented demand came on the funds from the market. On the other side, suddenly all the areas or avenues of the finance coming to the market was choked. So big gap suddenly was created. On one side, substantial supply, demand of money came in a very big number, and on the other side, total supply was overnight choked, without going into the reasons of it. Then what happened? In this budget, people started expecting. 15 days back, environment was getting created that our Honorable Finance Minister will see to it that better environment is created. Environment to invite substantial savings which we have towards the productive purposes. As last year we mentioned that equity is a productive asset. And as you know, there is no shape or size of expectation. Same way, people started looking towards that the process of creating an environment will get on. And there came a blow. Industry and capital market plays a complementary role to each other. There cannot be lopsided approach where you try to make industry healthy, but you don't create environment at the capital market for savings to go towards it. They have, and the government could analyze that yes, capital market is one place which can offer tremendous opportunity for raising resources. In this budget also, if you see 3,500 crores of PSU placement is worked out. Further, although they have not been able to place last year's balances. Not only that, they have also suggested good banks to go and raise resources from the capital market. How can the capital market can sustain this burden unless you try and open it up? Unless even you try and say that we are concerned about it. Right, somebody, Mr. Wright suggested that 10% change in the corporate tax may not make much of a difference in the financials. But it helps that yes, government is concerned about the investors. It shows its consciousness. It shows it that the one who is investing money in this corporates are entitled for better returns. And as Ashwin has rightly analyzed, that stock market is just not the data or just not the science, it is a mixture of science and art together. The art is what which is related to your feeling, which is where your sentiment part comes in. That's why it is not 10% reduction in financial terms, but that 10% of 500 crores worth relief for the investors or savers would have allowed this government to raise 10,000 crore more than what they have raised. Something I would like to bring out, our most eminent personality, Mr. Pasriwala, what he has said. I do not find single reason for not raising the income tax threshold limit except the government's greed, and there should be a countrywide agitation against it. Why? Our finance minister making some promises, why can't we fulfill this? Isn't we eligible for building up expectations of what he has said? He has committed last year. And this is what has happened. It is not 10% or it is not few crores. It is the betrayal of the trust all these investors had in the finance minister. It is reflected in the capital market. And Ashwin also rightly said that nobody takes care of your interests. You are destitute and you are orphan unless you take care of your own self. Think of those farmers. Even when there was a news in air that there will be a cut in farmer subsidy, what, how, where was even not known. But you have seen the rallies going in Delhi and farmers shouting for their rights. But here, 1.5 lakh crore diluted, no problem. Your money goes drained. Find the reason, probably it was Harshad Mehta or probably this, and forget about it. कुछ नहीं तो भाई सट्टा किया था, दिमाग ऐसा हाथ पे रख दिया और क्या है? You are investors. Where is the speculation part of it? And I think I will be repeating again. If 3,000 crore was project some industrialist had to put in, he brings in 50 crores of his own, and 2,950 crore he borrows for the industrial project which is going to come with the profitability after 5 years. Is a creation, is a creating activity in this country. But somebody who is forecasting that just after 5 months this company is going to do well, but he is borrowing a part of his money to buy those shares is speculative. Why can't we get out of this speculative and speculation? Our life itself is a speculation whether we are going to breathe the next moment or not. It's not known. What is the solution? We all have problems. We can always suggest our problems. And I don't think anybody is just interested in hearing problems only. One simple solution. I am today a salesman to make you all a member of Bombay Shareholder Association. Let their resolutions be passed. Let Dinesh Bhai take up the cause on your behalf to writing to Finance Minister that this many people look towards this all benefit which has been promised and you want us to subscribe to your capital, please create an environment. There will be a little bit repetition also, as Ashwin was suggesting that our stocks are not at all taken as an asset. In this country, we can get money on the promises or signing of promissory notes, but we don't get on the actual assets, that is equity. Okay, I mean the reason comes that we can't afford to divert our resources to speculative purposes. When we are financing equity, it is a speculative purpose. Don't do it. I agree that yes, probably according to your standards, financing or offering finances towards equity may be a speculative purpose. Open the doors for us to go to the foreign bankers abroad and let us borrow money against that. That's not going to touch your resources in this country. We will be able to bring the FIs, we will be able to bring the money. Make it free. Create an environment for them to come and finance our equity. Let them be a lender. Not only create an environment to come in as an investor, let the lenders also come in. If you can't trust, you don't expect them to trust your companies and your stock exchanges. Once they come in as a lender, very well they can become an investor tomorrow. We have seen what has happened in Argentina. There, the inflation rate has come down from 2000 and odd percentage to just 17.5%. On making a free environment for anybody to come in and buy whatever they want, especially stocks. PSU stocks has been diluted. Not only that, they said, okay, you can't come in as an investor, we are prepared to guarantee your returns. But do come, we are creating an environment for you. And that's the way the finances of these countries are changed. See what happens in the budget speech. I was shocked reading it today. In the budget speech, our finance ministry says that dollar will get stabilized at 28. And all the calculations are made according that it will be stabilizing at 28. What is the act? You don't have the conviction. You go and buy dollar today, $300 million when it is trying to come down at 31.90. What is its justification? You don't trust your country's rupee. Don't allow it to come down. Just few days back when you have said that it is going to come down to 28, how can you make it to stop at 31.90 or 32? Are we going to manage situations this way? Are we going to create, I understand that the life is mix of performance and perception. We call it a water and gold theory. Gold has got no performance value, but still because of a very strong perception and security value attached to it, we are always prepared to pay the price. Simultaneously, you can't live without water. A glass of water, you can't just live for a day. But still, if somebody asks you for 2 rupees a glass, you say, don't be stupid. That is the difference. It's not the performance, it is the perception has been making the price of this commodity. And that remains true in the stock market. That also remains true for the various foreign exchange markets. The distortion, it's not only government, as Harshad mentioned, it will be reputation. I read 3 days back that Morgan Stanley has assessed, and they say that corporate earnings of this country will go by 35%. And it is a good investment opportunity. I was feeling pity about their research, although very well managed. Because the research of few people here who have found out that without investing resources, you get the return of 35 to 70% in a more secured manner. Go short. Morgan Stanley needs to deploy resources and may or may not. But here is a certain system which puts you at par with the financer. Why can't we look into this system? SEBI has made few rules. Somebody who buys 5% of the stock should declare that he has bought 5% of stock. If he buys 10% of stock, then he has to offer the same opportunity to almost all the investors to create the balance. What happens to a person who goes short for 20%? Is he offering the same opportunity to everybody? When everyone got any share can go even short. There have been instances that the company has issued 60 lakh shares and the short sale is of more than 30 lakh shares. Unrestricted, no check. And this has been brought out to SEBI not now, long back. It's not that this anomaly only in the system. Also look at that how this feeling is further harnessed. If you continuously look at the margin system, which will clearly tell you that you have a special privilege if you go short. Margin levels are comparatively always lower than the margins on the book. Sorry, although I am known as Big Bull, but I am not wanting to talk just because I am a bull. I am trying to bring out some facts which this distortion is the distortion which is playing havoc on your money, on your assets. Somebody who wants to buy has to have the finances, somebody wants to sell, he did not have anything. And no check. So that is the second resolution we need to. The solution is that let Dinesh Bhai take up, that we all resolve that this should be brought up to SEBI, that they have to check this. So friends, I've already more than 2.5 hours has been taken on it, or around 3 hours. Your wish. Your wish. Our eminent Ms. Nani Palkiwala also made a remark saying that after 45 years, first time human resources is being recognized as a capital in this country. Now I want to ask, after 45 years, we haven't recognized the capital itself as a capital in this country. What do we do about human resources capital recognized as capital? Let's change our views. Let's change the perception. Now, talking about the industry, as I will be violating the rules set for the game by Mr. Dinesh Modi by not answering few questions. Question number 1, in short term, I feel market is going through adjustment phase. And let me tell you, these adjustment phases are the phases which gives you best of opportunity to invest. But whomsoever is investing, he has to first check his mentality. Whether he is an investor or he wants to make money, like Kamlesh Bhai was saying that, okay, balance you send it to me. Sorry, I don't think speculator has ever made money. I tried earlier with all the resources, information, knowledge, and being in the market, with all those privileges, the experience has been thoroughly negative. So if you ask me first, please stay off. Nobody has ever made money in speculation. Be an investor, and investor always feels happy when the market goes down because he feels that is a better opportunity. The one who is with Pratak Ruti, as Mr. Bosher said, that Pratak Ruti, the fellow will become happier and happier because next time he is buying things more cheaper. He will get more number of shares at the resources what he has. Because he knows, he has the conviction that tomorrow is going to be a bright tomorrow. Unless you don't have this conviction, forget about it. This is not the market for you because you will be working for us. Because it is these two weaknesses which makes people to earn money out of you. That is greed and fear. When it is time to sell, you feel that it is always going to be better tomorrow. One of my very close relatives, he came rushing to me. He said, Harshad, what do you suggest? How can I make money? I got therapy. I said only one thing to do. Always buy cheap and sell dear. I said it's a great theory. સસ્તું લેવાનું અને મોંઘું વેચી નાખવાનું. મેં કીધું હવેથી તમે આ રીતે જ વર્તજો, તમે સસ્તું લેશો અને મોંઘું વેચશો, you will make money. He did not dare to ask me કે સસ્તું ક્યારે કહેવાય અને મોંઘું ક્યારે કહેવાય. Because he got the answer કે મોંઘું જ્યારે હતું ત્યારે એને બહુ જ સસ્તું લાગતું હતું અને જ્યારે સસ્તું ખરેખર થયું ત્યારે જગ્યા નથી. So, tip for the day: buy cheap, sell dear. As for the industry, I see that for next 3 years, I agree with Mr. Harshad that finance companies are going to do extremely well. Those ones who are rightly managed. Sorry, there may be more number of FIRs on me if I give the names. It may be probably a criminal act, so I will not like to have more. I have enough on me. Also look towards those industries which are just not export oriented, but be careful that they are net export only. It should not be that way that they are depending quite a lot on imports as well as on exports. Third, with higher central outlay, although it's my most favorite industry as known, that is cement industry, I feel it is giving again a good opportunity. And added to that, the other industry one can look towards is power industry, power sector. At lower levels again, para companies. But now one analysis I have made, one need to change the habit now, not constantly look towards the secondary market, but now with the kind of force or the kind of number of issues are coming up, the opportunity in primary market, it may come under thought. I just got it analyzed. There were total 100 companies which were quoting between 8 and 10 rupees, 8 rupees and 10 rupees. There were 47 companies quoting between 6 rupees and 8 rupees. And there were 17 companies which were quoting between 4 and 6 rupees. And the history of those 17 companies, out of that we picked up 10 companies. Those 10 companies in last 3 years has once touched, almost all companies has touched more than 35 rupees. So what I am trying to come to a point is that if you go for issues which are good company issues, which are being offered at 10 rupees, you have a very little scope of losing your money. Out of more than 3,500 scripts listed on Bombay Stock Exchange, only 100 are between 8 and 10. So your downside risk is just 20% in the worst of scenarios. But those companies, it's very easy to go from 10 to 20, 30, 40. Doubling your money in those scripts will be much faster then. And not only that, Again, the analysis of that all those 4 to 6 rupees companies has touched 35. So in 3 years to 5 years time, any and every company gives you the opportunity to earn back your interest as well as the capital, even if you have entered into a worse decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I ask my colleague to propose a vote of